Hello, good people, and welcome back. So after talking about after covering on lists, we started here with lists. Then we came to sets. Now it's time we talk about dictionary effects. Now, I better to have a simple understanding of the word dictionary. We can use an example of the dictionary we normally use in our day-to-day life, whereby we have a word, and a definition. Basically, example, when a reader looks up the word cat, right, then they'll find a definition of a cat is a small domesticated canine, or whichever meaning the word cat has. So the relationship between a cat and its definition is associated. So basically, the relationship between the word and the definition. What do we mean by this? It means, as the term says, associate. It means we can associate. We can associate the word is associated with the description of it. So basically, you can associate them. So basically, that's a simple definition of the word dictionary. I hope that's clear. So in Python, now in our definition here, we're going to say it's a Python container, right? Python container. Now, basically, we're giving a meaning to based on what we just said. So, in Python, a dictionary is a Python container used to describe associative relationships. I hope that's clear. Basically, we describe associative relationships. The relationship we had between a cat and a meaning, a word and a meaning. So basically, we are going to have it in a dictionary. We are going to have it in a Python. We're going to have it in a Python container. I hope we're clear up to there on our definition of a dictionary. So, it is represented by the int. So, for example, for list we had list, for sets we had set. Now for dictionary we will choose the dict object type, right? Hope we're clear. Basically, what we're trying to say here is we're going to have keys and values. What do we mean by this? Now, what this means is the key is the word and the value is the definition. That's what we're associating with this part. So we're going to have keys and values in our dictionary, right? So we have a key. What's a key? So a key is a term, basically what you can locate. For this example, you are looking for a word to get the meaning. So basically this is a term that can be located in the dictionary. hope it's clear. And then I bet the value becomes clear that value is what is the defined. Basically, value is the data associated to the key. Associated to the key. So you find a key, then the key, the value is associated to the key. So basically, you'll have a key value pair. Pairs. Basically, pairing keys and values. So we have something. We have some descriptions of keys whereby we say key can be immutable, like something like a number, string, tuples. A value can be any type, right? So we're going to have a how do we create a dict object? Creation. So we're going to say create object by using curly braces. Yes, the curly braces surrounding key value pairs. Key, I'll use K for key and V for value pairs. So we have a key and value pairs in a dictionary. So for example, let's say we have a dictionary called players. So we have a dictionary called players. Now, for each as we said, it will have the curly braces. So that's where curly braces comes in. Sorry. So square brackets. Curly braces looks like this. So inside there, we'll now have the key and the value. Key and the value. For example, we'll have examples of okay, I'll use the numbers or the jersey players have. So I'll use first one. I'll start with Cristiano Ronaldo. So that's a key, right? You look for Cristiano Ronaldo in our dictionary and you'll find it. Now, so I'll do the next player. I'll go for Messi. Messi wears jersey number 10, right? So these are simple dictionary. So we have a dictionary of players. We have a dictionary of players. Two keys. We have Ronaldo and we have Messi. So with their jersey numbers being, like, just use Ronaldo and Messi for easy. So we'll have Ronaldo and Messi 7 and 10 respectively. So if you're trying to create an empty dictionary of players, right? We're going to use players. We're going to say players is equals to then just the curly braces. I hope that's clear. How dictionaries are created, and an example of a dictionary. How we use key value. How that's clear. Now dictionaries are used in place of lists when an associated relationship exists. So basically, if we remember how lists were being created, right? But here we say we're using them we use them in place of lists. And the reason why we use them in place of lists is whenever association relationship now comes in. List I use in place of lists. Hope that's clear. Whenever we have a relationship, that's when a dictionary comes in. Yeah, I hope that's clear on when dictionary comes in. So instead of using a list, but when we have a relationship, that's when dictionary comes in. If we want to give an example of a program of where a dictionary would come in. So let's say we have a program. Let's say we have a program that contains a collection of anonymous students' test scores, right? So we have student test scores. So what happens is those scores should be stored in a list, right? In a normal scenario, those scores would be stored in a list, whereby we will say student A, whereby we will say whereby we'll say student A would have, let's say we'll have a 50, 60, 70, right? This is a list. So we now store, if we want, we'd store those we store those test scores in a list. So however, if the scores now are associated with a student name, now the association comes in. So now we'll use a dictionary because an association has come in, whereby we'll say student A had 10, student B had 7, right? I hope that's clear. So we can also have other association relationships where we could have names and addresses, we could have car models and price, right? So examples. Car models and price. Student. Student number. University. Then, as we said, we'll have the students. Test score. Test score. Student name. So these are whereby initially it was just car models, we'd use a list, but because we now have a relation to price, we'll use a dictionary. We had the student number, we initially stored it in a list, but now we have an association to university, we'll have to store it in a dictionary. Test scores, as we said, initially they'd be in a list, but because of the association to a student list, we'd have it in a dictionary. So let's see an example of a dictionary. I'll just print what we have already. We did print. So we'll say cd types. We'll say Python. Now, this in here. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't getting it when I ran in here first. For some reason I could not find it. I don't know. Maybe I not saved it, but unless it's 10, not 1. Yeah. So we now have our dictionary here. So maybe in a line it could look like that, right? So these are dictionary of players. This is a dictionary. Dictionary of players. So in the same way, we can give example of car models and their price, serial number, and so on and so forth. Now, hope you're clear up to there about dictionaries and how dictionaries are created and where the relation comes in. So, let's talk about how to access a dictionary. Maybe you can let's do an example on car models. So I'll comment all this out. Then I will do an example on okay, we create another file to use in training, but I've just decided to use it. So we're going to create dictionary of car models and their price. So we'll have a, let's say we call it cars, right? So initially in a list we'd use a square bracket, then we list the cars, or we list the prices, right? So we'd say Mazda, we'd say Toyota, we'd say whichever. So, but right now, since we have a relation, we're going to use since we have a relation, we're going to say cars is equals to then a curly brace, then we list the car and its price. So we'll say, let's say we have a Toyota, then we'll say, okay, this is not the actual price, I'm just using this as an example. We're going to assign it to 15. Then maybe our last example we'll use I'm just getting variables of Toyota, Nissan, we have Mazda. Let's say that's 16,000. Well, the last one. So we'll say that's key value 20,000. Now we have key value. So we can do a print of cars. We can just print cars. So when you print our dictionary here, it will give us just what we have right here. So I hope we're clear up to that about how to create a dictionary. So this is a dictionary of cars. So a dictionary curly braces are used to build dictionary. Now that's clear. And dictionary entries are ordered by position. So let's say you want to accessing, let's talk about accessing dictionary entries. To access dictionary entries. So let me first say something about dictionary. So dictionaries maintain left to right order, right? So they have an order, right? They have left to right ordering, so maintain left right ordering. Despite maintaining left to right ordering, we cannot access them, cannot be accessed by indexing. So you cannot do players 2, players 3. No, you cannot. They cannot be accessed by indexing. So how do we access them? To access the dictionary, to access the dictionary elements, to access an entry. So, the key. So basically, we now going to see since we cannot access by indexing. You remember how you were indexing the list, right? Using the number 2, 3, and the likes. So here we cannot do the indexing. So but here now we're going to use the key. Since we have the key value relation, we're going to use the key to access, to use it to help us in access. So to access an entry, what do we do to the key? So the key is now. So to access a specific entry, we're going to have the key being passed here. Remember we have said the relation, the key, the dictionary has a key value relation, right? So we're going to access an entry, we're going to pass the key in a square bracket, in the square bracket. And we're going to do that as an example, so we can use it. You can use what we have here in dictionary. So we're going to say print cars, then use a square bracket, then we pass the key. This is the key. So we're going to pass master here, right? So the key looks like this. So when we run this, we see the value get is 16,000. They are assigned to master. That's how we access dictionaries. I've shown you just an example. So for the players we had here, let me just copy this again. So I'll use the example here. So to access that, we're going to say print. Then we say our dictionary is called players. Our dictionary is called players. Then we have a square bracket. We want to access missing. So we're just going to do that. Sorry, we're going to do that. That's how we're going to access. Let's see how we print as one. Hope that's clear. How we access dictionaries. In case of a question, you leave it in the comment section. Then we'll handle it on how to access dictionaries or on anything on dictionaries. I hope we are clear up to there on how to access. Now let's talk about how do we do the add, modify, and delete dictionary entries. So we've talked about the definition of a dictionary, how our dictionary is created, how do we access dictionary entries, right? Using the square bracket or the key, using the key on the square bracket. Hope that's clear. So now let's talk about how we add, delete. How do we add, modify, and delete? So let's start with how to add. Now, so first things first, let's talk about the qualities or the characteristics of dictionary. So a dictionary is mutable. That's why we can talk of addition. Means you can edit. So meaning we can add, modify, delete. So how do we perform the said characters or the said actions? So basically to add a new entry, to add a new entry, we use brackets to specify the key, right? So we use basically just the same way we were using the key to search here. We're going to use the same way. We use let me fill the description. We use the square brackets to specify the key. Now, how is it done? So for example, we have our dictionary here, right? We have our dictionary. Sorry. Let me just copy this. So we have our dictionary here, and we want to add another player. Let's just so we have our players here. How do we add? So we just as we said here, to add an entry we use the square bracket. So we go to say players, the name of our dictionary, a square bracket. Then we say what's the key we want to add. So I want to add let me search for a player here. I want to add Yamada. Yeah. So to add let me just search for his jersey number. Oh, you are still as well, right? We use jersey number 10, so we already have basically the number 10. So I don't want a player who has a different jersey number. Let me use De Bruyne. No. Okay, I'll use a player who has sorry. Let me use Onana. Onana we use number 1, right? So we want to add here's number 24, right? So we're going to say the key and the value is 24. So we have added a new entry using the square bracket to the key, and the value goes here. So the next time you print players, you will see Onana being among them. Now, in our example, we have cars. So when we print cars right now, we have let me get rid of this. Let me just comment. Then let's do this. So when we print cars right now, we see a list of 1, 2, 3. We have 4 cars. So how do we add? So to add, we have said we're going to say cars, the name of our dictionary, use a square bracket. Then what do we want to add right now? So we'd want to add Lexus is but let's just do it like this. So is equals to 22,000. This is how we add dictionary, adding a value to a dictionary. So when we print cars now, we will see the value of we'll see Lexus have been added to the last point after Benz. I hope that's clear. Now we've seen in an example how we add a value to a dictionary. I hope we've seen that in our example. So let's get to how do we modify. So to modify dictionary, so to modify a dictionary, we want to use the dictionary, right? Square brackets of the key, and then you put the new value. So basically, dictionary, the name of the dictionary, the key, let's say we want to update on to 29, right? So that's how we can easily update. Now let's use an example. Let's do an example here. So we want to update the Benz, right? So we'll say cars square bracket, as we just said, square bracket, the name of the key. We want to update the Benz. I want to update it to, initially it was 20,000. We want to update it to 25,000. Sorry. Right now, when we print cars, let's keep an eye on the value of Benz. So initially, Benz was 20,000. Now, coming down here, we see the value of Benz being updated to 25. That's why we have Benz being 25,000. And we only have one value of Benz, we don't have two. So this basically is an editing to what we have. So editing is we edit what you already have. So basically, what that shows is when we are adding, we should be adding a value that is not there initially. Had the value of Lexus been there, now it could just have been modifying it. Hope that's evident. Lastly, let's talk about removing, delete. So to delete an entity from a dictionary, we use the keyword delete. So we use the word del. Use del. The name of the dictionary, square brackets, the key value, the key, and the value. I hope that's clear. Basically, let's show it in an example as well. So basically, we use the delete. Then we enter the name of the dictionary. The keyword goes here, and then the value. Let's use an example in our entry. So to delete, let's say delete. So we're going to say del, as we have said. The name of our dictionary is cars, square brackets. The key, we want to delete Toyota. So we're going to say Toyota. Then what's the value of Toyota? 12,000. Sorry, let's get back to now to delete an entry. You don't have to use the value, because deleting the key deletes the value, because value key gives the key has a definition, has an association to the value. So when you delete the key, delete the value as well. So I was wrong there. That's why it was giving me an error here. So for you to delete, I need to use the word delete, the name of your dictionary, square brackets, and then the key itself you want to delete. So when we run this, we're going to, now our entry now starts with the Nissan. So Toyota has been deleted. We now start with the Nissan, Mazda, Benz, and then it adds Lexus. That's what we've done so far. We've covered the whole life cycle of dictionary. So I hope we are now up to date with the types we have. We have covered lists. We've covered sets. So basically, these are the most used. They're the most used types in Python, and I hope everyone of us is up to date with it. In case there is any which want us to go through one more time, we can set a time. Then I can do another recording, or we can do a live session whereby I'll be getting your questions. So that's all about dictionaries. I hope we are up to date with understanding dictionaries and how they work. That's it for now. I hope to see you in the next class or in the next video. Share this to your friends. Let's all learn Python. I hope it's now easier, but we're just getting started. So I hope it's now getting easier. If anyone of you has questions, drop in the comment section. I hope to hear more from you, and don't forget to subscribe, share, like, so that someone else can get to know that we are learning and can come to see what we are learning. So I hope that's it for now. Let's meet in the next one. Bye.